Well, I guess I'll just jump in here. So my name is Jim Gable. I am an agent here at Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan. I've been a licensed agent since 2013, and I've been coaching with Eric since 2019 about then. And so, I coached a session earlier today in person, and just kind of giving you a little bit more of a background for me is that I started coaching in 2019, and with a goal of, at the time I was part-time agent. I became full-time in 2019. I started with Eric in I think like January or February of 2019, and I had a goal of quitting my other job, which was at the time was bartending. I had a goal of quitting by August 1st of 2019. And actually we were able to hit that goal a little bit sooner. But just kind of letting you know like where I've come from and where I'm at now is starting from doing a couple transactions. Really, like when I first started, it was just like a couple transactions a year. Now I think I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I've sold over, I don't know, it's probably close to 70 something houses this year. I'm on track to sell, like we've got another 22 houses under contract right now. Looking at doing another 19 here. We're looking at putting that under contract hopefully by the end of the week, and a handful of other just like random deals. So, probably will be over 100 houses this year. And so anyway, Eric and I were discussing in our previous coaching session, what is something that has worked for me in the past, with getting in touch with people. Well, I'll start here. Getting in touch with people who maybe you don't know, right? How do you turn a have not met into a met, right? So if you're familiar with the MREA book, and it focuses on there's two systems of converting people from a have not met to a met, and that's one is an 8x8 and the other one is a 36 touch. So just kind of staying in their presence, and so that it takes them from, hey, I don't know you, to they know you by first name, and then they know you, like you, and trust you. And so what I'm going to be going over with everybody today is an 8x8 that I developed, just kind of on my own. Like I was working for sale by owners for a while. And this program here, this is an 8x8 that I personally developed, and it's not 8 touches over 8 weeks. It's 8 touches over kind of like, we'll say 3 weeks, something like that, 3.5, maybe 2.5, 3 weeks. But it's a method of getting a first sale. So I don't know if anybody here has talked with for sale by owners before. They get bombarded with phone calls from real estate agents going, pick me, I want to sell your house, I can sell your house, you're doing a bad job, I can sell your house, I want to sell your, so it's like, it's all about me. And so I was like, I never really felt comfortable with that approach, and it just was very salesy. And I was like, all right, how is that really actually providing somebody value? So I came up with this 8x8 touch system, and it's just I'll show you it here in a moment. And every single bit about it is providing value to a for sale by owner. Now you can make this 8x8 for really anything. You can make it for expired listings. You can make it for sale by owners. You can make it for hey, if your goal is to have a lot of CEOs of companies know you on a first name basis, you can develop an 8x8 to get in their, basically in their phone book. You know, if you want to do business with them, or you know, you're looking to work with, you know, high net worth individuals, you can develop an 8x8 for really anything, for connecting with people. And I'll show you here in a minute. And the other thing I want to say, just as a precursor to jumping in here, is that I'm going to share this with everybody, but these are all things that I personally committed to doing. So this is something that worked for me. It may not work for you. There's nothing that's going to stop you from taking a screenshot of what I'm providing here. I would not be teaching this if I cared about that. But I'm going to encourage you to make your own. Make something that you are willing to commit to. If this is something that you do want to implement it in your business. So, and then the other thing is, I'm going to say is, feel free to jump in at any point in time, ask questions. This is only the second time I've ever taught a class. So I encourage people to jump in at any point in time. So I'm going to share my screen here. Oh, host disabled participant screen sharing. So Taylor, if you're still listening, if you're able to provide access to that, I will be able to share my my screen with everybody.
Jim, I didn't know you went to San Francisco this week.
You like that?
Very cool.
Yeah, just you know, hanging out over here in California, teaching a class in Cleveland, Ohio.
Very cool.
Okay, I'm now the host, so I'll be able to share my screen with everybody here. All right. Can everybody see that? Yeah, okay, great. All right,
Yes.
so, all right, so I'm just gonna minimize that down there and try to get rid of it as much as I possibly can. So this is a spreadsheet that I created, and I don't use command in my business. You may, you may not. You know, I'm sure there's capabilities within command to have this more of an automated system. I really like Excel. If you're familiar with the DISC personality assessment, I'm a very high SC, so Excel sheets work for me. And so what I did here is I made a spreadsheet, and this is really just a system of follow-up that I use in my 8x8 touch program, so that I don't even have to think. If I come in and I'm going to do lead generation, or if I'm going to be contacting people in a day, I don't even have to think like, oh, who should I be contacting today? Because I already know who it is, because here's the date of next follow-up. I'm going to be contacting these folks, you know, during my my daily lead generation time block. And these are just let's see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 6 examples of people that I've used I've contacted in the past. And I'll just kind of go through like the first one here. So this is one that these are all for sale by owners on Zillow. I didn't buy these leads. I didn't you know, I guess you can do the same thing if you happen to be driving past like a for sale by owner sign, or if you're looking at Craigslist, or you know, whatever it is. These all came from Zillow. You know, they're openly advertised on Zillow.com. So I have here just some basic information about the house, who the owner is. I want to know who I'm talking to, you know, what their actual name is, or what they prefer to be called. I meant, and a little bit of notes about the house, and then also some notes about the owner. And the reason why these are important here, and it's not just like this is something that you can keep adding to as you find out more information. Maybe a previous conversation that you had with the owner. Maybe you had a notice something about the house that would be important. And so it's always just good to, because like once you start filling this thing up, I know this is only 6 examples, but once you start adding to this list, it gets pretty crazy. You start forgetting who you've had conversations with and what you talked about, like, oh, did that person have the dog name Max, or is that or is it this person? And you want to record information, anything that you can about that person, so when you call them again, you can bring it back up. The next thing here is notes about the owner, the house, anything like that. So and this is going to be, I think, pretty valuable here coming up in the future, since we're going through a shifting market where houses, with the interest rates rising, it just kind of seems, I don't know what you guys are seeing out there, but it just kind of seems like you can't just a seller can't just throw a house up with one picture and it's listed for $399,000, and they say, hey, we're not paying a buyer's agent, and the house is $25,000 listed over what it should be, and people are getting multiple offers. I'm not really seeing that right now. I think that if the house, unless the house is like in immaculate condition, it's completely move-in ready. I think that it's kind of, I guess, normalized a little bit, but feel free to challenge me on that. So anyway, I think that this program will eventually, it'll be easier to build your pipeline if you choose to use something like this, or if you're going to use it for something else. So anyway, so this is the touch program that I use. And so I have it systemized to the point where I have each and every contact or point of contact recorded here. I know I've got 9 contacts in there, but we'll get to that point here, and I'll show you guys why. So the very first thing that I do is one, I've got some notes up here. Remember the purpose of the purpose is setting, I don't know what the first part is, but the first part is to get in front of them for FaceTime. It's a lot harder for somebody to be mean to you on the phone if you're actually, there's a lot harder for them to be mean to you or totally pass you off if you're standing right in front of them. Most people are going to give you the time of day if you're standing right in front of them. This person. And the other thing is, you want to go there and you want to preview the house. You just want to talk with these people. They're real people, and they're just doing what they think is okay for them. It's their house. If they want to sell for sale by owner, great. That's fine. It's your house. When it comes time to if you can't sell your house and however long you gave yourself to sell your house, I'd like to be the first person to come to mind. That's the whole purpose of this. So anyway, the first contact that I go through here, and I wrote notes in here, is call and schedule a meeting. Right? You go on Zillow.com, you go into the for sale by owner section, and you go, and I have my call times from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And sometimes you can see like, hey, they already have posted on there. They're going to be hosting an open house. And whether it's on a Friday or a Thursday or Sunday, whatever it may be. Perfect. You call them and say, hey, I'm calling about the house on 123 Main Street. And my name is Jim Gable. I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. I saw that you're having an open house this Sunday at your house on 123 Main Street. And I just wanted to let you know I plan on stopping by. And that may be a conversation of, hey, well, great. Do you have a buyer? Or, and hey, I don't know, I might have a buyer, but I do want to come by and take a look. And, or maybe like, hey, I work this area a lot and I want to see, what's going on in the neighborhood. And just in case I do have a buyer, I want to be able to tell them about it. I want to be proactive rather than reactive. So Anyway, so most of the time people are gonna be like, great, thank you for letting me know. And they're, the biggest thing is like, they're just happy they know somebody's gonna be showing up to their open house. You know, they're nervous, you know, they want to know that, you know, somebody's actually going to be showing up. So they're like, all right, yeah, cool. See you Sunday. That's the reaction I get most of the time. Or if they're not having an open house, then, you know, then you make an appointment with them. Just that simple. Exact same things as I said before is, you know, just plain and simple. Hey, I want to come by, take a look at it. And, you know, I want to know what's going on in the area, or, you know, like, hey, I'm not sure if I have a buyer, but if I do come across somebody, I'd like to, you know, come by and take a look at it. Sometimes you get a little bit of pushback of like, hey, you know, you can see photos online, you know, look at there, you know, and stuff like that. But their defenses are up. You got to remember that, you know, because they are just getting absolutely bombarded by real estate agents telling them, you know, arguing with them, calling them nonstop. You know, it's yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, if they give you pushback, they give me pushback on that, then I just go, okay, no problem. I'll follow up with them in like 2 or 3 days and tell them I want to come by again and whatever. Yeah. So anyway, so that's my first point of contact. Next one is the actual first meeting. Show up on time. Show up curious and ready to, you know, talk with them just about life or their house or why they're selling, whatever. The point of the meeting is to go, one, go look at the house, and two, just go build rapport. You know, find some sort of common ground, something genuine, you know, compliment them on something in their house. You know, they're putting themselves out there. You know, they you know, find out some information from them that, you know, you'll be able to find useful, that, you know, are, you know, moving on, you know, like what their motivation is. You're not there to get a listing appointment. That's the way I look at it. You know, what made them want to sell their house? Where are they moving to? How soon do they want to get there? What takes them over there? You know, are they willing to pay a buyer's agent? You know, and you know, you'll get a variety of responses. You know, hey, yeah, I'm offering to pay 1% or 3% or $3,000 flat. You know, whatever they want to say. That's okay. That sounds good. I'm not going to argue with them in their own house. You know, that's not what I'm there for. I'm just there to build rapport, find out what's going on. So the next one is my third point of contact here. If you can see here over the right, if I drag my mouse, it'll go off of it. But the next point of contact that I do is I text them. I just let them know, you know, one day after the first meeting, I just text them and say, hey, just want to say thank you for taking the time to show me around your house on 123 Main Street yesterday. It's all right with you, I'd like to tell the other agents about it tomorrow during our Tuesday morning office meeting, or if it happens to be that day, or, you know, you're going to be showing up to coaching on Wednesday and telling other agents about it. Hey, there's a house on 123 Main Street. If anybody has a buyer, I spoke with the seller, and, you know, they did this or that about the house, or this or that about the motivation, whatever it may be. You know, you know, you can text them that. You know, if you don't end up talking to anybody about it, you know, is anybody really going to check? But you know, just again, it's another touch. And, you know, the more you're able to help, the whole thing about this is being able to just help them. You know, you've got a lot of people, you know, like here's it. Most for sale by owners, when you talk to them, they go, what do they say? They go, bring me a buyer. And it's like, oh, okay, all right. Well, guess what? Guess who's the only person who's trying to bring you a buyer? Is me. So they're going to remember that, rather than, you know, just like, you know, hey, give me stuff. Hey, I'm a real estate agent. Give me stuff. You know, you're giving them stuff. So, you know, they're going to remember you. At least they'll pick up the phone, bare minimum. And so the next point of contact that I do is it's the 3 days after the first meeting. So I record, like I'm able to record this on the, in this section here, when my actual next data follow-up is. So the next one is call them. Hey, this is Jim Gable. I'm not sure if you remember me. This is Jim Gable. Just want to let you know I haven't forgotten about you. I'm still getting the word out there. Just curious, have you any offers? What kind of feedback have you heard so far? I'll keep you updated on what I hear. I'm just still getting the word out. Great. That's could be a long conversation. It could be a short conversation, whatever they want to share, depending on, what kind of personality they have, what kind of day they had. And so, yeah, you're getting in touch with them. You're finding out more about them, more about their information. They now have your number. You've already texted them. You called them. You showed up. You saw them in person, face to face. You had a conversation with them. And so, by now they're starting to, recognize you. And, and the best part is you haven't been a jerk to them once. You haven't asked for anything. So, the last one is, or sorry, not last one. The next one is another phone call. Hey, just curious, would it be okay? Or, hey, would you be offended if I were to, share your listing with people that I know? One thing that I do personally is I do a lot of networking. I go on meetup.com. I go to a lot of networking groups. And I speak with a lot of people who are like, I join like young professionals meetups, and a lot of times it's just like going to get drinks with people who are like other business owners or other forms of sales. But these people, they know a lot of people. They're out networking all the time. So it would be all right if I were to share your listing with these folks. And also, just a thought. Would it be all right if I were to stop by again, just to grab a couple photos of either the exterior house, or if it's all right, I'd like to grab just a couple more from the interior, and post this stuff on my Facebook page or my Instagram page. Again, just still talking with them, building common ground. Whether they say yes or no, or whatever. Just say like, hey, you already got the stuff online. You don't want me to come by again, that's fine. I'll post your listings that you're a couple of listings with your finger in the corner of the photo online on my Facebook page. So the other benefit of that is, if you're doing 20 of these, 50 of these, and you're posting it on your Facebook page, then what does your sphere start to think? They're going, oh, wow, Jim's selling a lot of houses. They don't even know, perception is reality. So, you're not misleading them. You're not telling anybody, hey, this is actually my listing. I would never lie and say that. But if they want to think that it's my listing, that's fine. So, and then, so anyway, the next point of contact, again, another 3 days later, hey, would you be offended? Call them up or text them, whatever they prefer to do. Would you be, but I prefer to call them, just because they can hear my voice. And would you be offended if I were to run, a paid Facebook ad, no cost to you, and I'd like to have an email with them saying that it's okay, just in case, and it'll be with the photos, either with it that they have online, or maybe the photos that I already grabbed on the second visit with them. And then just build more rapport, find out their frustrations. At this point, they're going to be talking about, hey, this person keeps calling me. Hey, what, this way, who knows? But they're going to be starting to open up to you a lot more. And a lot of times I don't even get to this far by the time they're calling me or texting me going, hey, Jim, can we talk about my house? It's on a first name basis already. and they go, hey, can we talk about this? I'm getting sick of this.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
I have a question. So at what point do you talk about price? Because is the issue that they're not selling their home and nobody's buying it? Maybe it's because of the price. Do you bring that up at all, or do you just kind of leave that out?
Yeah, no, I give them everything.
Okay.
So the thing about this is you got to realize, I give them everything. I don't hold back anything. I give them an honest opinion about the house. I'm always very respectful. If they want to know how much their house, my opinion of the worth value of their house, yeah, I'd be happy to provide some comparables for you. I just want to be helpful, and the reason why is because, all right, great. Let's say they sell their house themselves, right? And so I guess sometimes doing this, yeah, you'll get burned every once in a while. But that one person not selling their house with you is not your problem. Your problem is not filling this pipeline up enough to the point where one person doesn't matter. So, or where one person matters is what I'm saying. Right. Really, I give them everything. I give them everything, and so if they can't sell it, then they're gonna want to come to me because I gave them everything. I gave them everything. Within my capabilities. Obviously, I can't list it online. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna go and spend hundreds of dollars on photos for them. I'm not gonna go and get a stager for them. I'm not gonna, that's the, they're kind of getting a limited service, and we can have that conversation with them later on in your full listing presentation. But here's the thing is like, so this guy here, Rob, he ended up texting me. He's like, hey, Jim, you've always shot me straight. Can you meet me over at the house, today at 4? And, I'd like to list my house. Great, cool. That's a super easy conversation. Like instead of like, hey, can you give me stuff? This guy's asking me to come over and list the house. This guy over here, this guy, Chris, I met him at the house. Really nice guy. I didn't talk about, selling his house ever. He ended up calling me saying, hey, can you come over and list my house? Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. All the thing I talked with this guy about was bow hunting, fishing, riding ATVs, camping, and burning stuff. So this guy here, he never ended up selling his house to me. I didn't get any business off of him. That's fine. This lady, she was super nice. Again, didn't get anything off of her. That's fine. This guy, he sold his house himself. Eventually, he called me up afterward and he said, hey, Jim, you know what? I was thinking about moving to Columbus, but I decided I actually want to stay in Lakewood. He ended up buying another house in Lakewood. So I don't know why he sold this one. It was a really nice house, but he was just kind of the guy he was. And the only thing I talked with him about was beer. So like, it's not like, you're just connecting with people. They're just people. So
Jim, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you're talking about using this approach. You went on Zillow and you contacted these for sale by owners. Being a new agent, utilizing exclusively MLS, how do you incorporate this approach with that?
With the MLS?
Yes.
Well, so any house that is listed on the MLS is typically listed with another agent. So if you don't want to violate an agency relationship, you don't want to go contacting the seller of that house and saying, hey, let's be buds and ditch your agent. That's definitely an ethics violation. So this is all on Zillow.com. I'll show you right now where you can find all this. www.zillow.com. Oops. There we go. Zillow.com. Wherever this is at. I don't know why it's not showing up. Zillow.com. There you go. Great. All right. So we've got here. So we'll go to buy. for sale by owner. And working in Lakewood here, we got 2 for sale by owner houses right here. This guy has been on the market for, I think that just said 96 days. This guy needs help. You know, you're in Lakewood, you know, something is going wrong here. And it might start with this blurry picture. So I don't know. It looks like a decent house, you know, but you know, this person, you know, they've got their phone number posted right here. They've got a whole bunch of views and 26 saves. It's been on the market for 96 days. You know, maybe, so they're listed. Seems okay. The Zestimate is up there with that, you know. Do some investigative work, call them up, see if you can schedule an appointment. Schedule a preview of the house. So that's a free lead. It's amazing. This is just free. It's all free. So you can go on Craigslist and find some information too. You happen to drive by a for sale by owner sign, stop, turn around, come back later if you're late for something. Write down the phone number of that house, or go knock on the door. Maybe they're at home. Hey, you know, I know this is a little unorthodox, you know, and maybe not in COVID times. I don't really know, but you can go knock on the door and say, hey, you know what? I just happen to be driving by. I don't know if this is a bad time for you. I'm a real estate agent. I just want to. I work in this neighborhood a lot, and I saw your house is for sale by owner, or just for sale, and wanted to see if I can come by. I'm not sure if I have a buyer. You know, maybe I do. Again, I work in this neighborhood a lot. If I happen to come across a buyer, you know, I'd like to be able to tell them, about your house. You know, so if they invite you in, great. If not, then, you know, maybe you can schedule an appointment, or they can direct you to some photos or something like that. You know, so does that answer your question?
It does. I'm my head is spinning because I have to schedule 2 open houses, so I'm just a little nervous about going about that.
About scheduling open houses?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I don't want to go too far down there. It might be a question for later, but what about scheduling open houses is making you nervous?
Just creating that connection, that contact. If I'm looking on the MLS, I see like you said, they're already represented. This is already scheduled. So just going about making that contact and being someone to schedule an open house.
I'm not sure if I'm following. Is anybody else following? That can, or so you're saying that you're looking to do open houses?
Right.
Got it. Okay. I'll touch on that at the end here.
Okay.
That's a totally different conversation for this one. So, but I will touch on that. Anybody wants to stick around and find out, you know, how to schedule an open house at the end. I will stick around and help you with that. So this is actually just for sale by owners. These are all people who are not represented by an agent at all. So they listed themselves. So this person does not have an agent representing them. Actually, it looks like a fake listing. So I don't know. Oh, wait, Jenna, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I wanted to know if you have any suggestions for, I see a for sale by owner here on Zillow, but it says no realtors. Would you just not call it, or do you have a way to get around?
Call it. Yeah, I call it. You know, like I said, they're absolutely getting bombarded by people telling them to give them stuff. So if you call them just to see the house, whatever, you know, maybe they change their attitude, you know, since they put that up.
So you just say you want to see the house, and then you go look at it, and basically, like, how do you say, like, if I bring you a buyer, will you give me a commission? How do you say that?
Yeah, so I'll go back here. And so that's not really the point of me going over there to go see their house. I'm not at all concerned about myself in this situation, any of this situation. And where the reason why I say it is because, like, you know, they're just doing what they think is right. You know, they're doing You know, it's their house. They're thinking they're going to be able to sell it themselves. They've heard about how great of a market it is, and you know, they just want to. Sometimes they just want to try. You know, they just want to try for like a week or two, just to see. You know, my focus is not how much money I'm going to make. It's about how can I help them. So even if we look here at this, the second contact or second point of contact, which is actually the first meeting, I will ask them, hey, are you willing to work with a buyer's agent? Yes or no, you know, whatever they say. I don't really care what they say. I will just sit there and nod. Yeah. Okay, great. Yes. Yeah, I'm willing to pay you $3,000 on this $500,000 listing. Okay. You know, but when it comes time to actually list the house, this is what I charge. Well, first, this is what I can do for you. This is how I'm going to get the house sold. This is what I charge. So whatever they say, fine. You know, like, yeah, what if you do find them a buyer? Well, guess what? You know, like, you know, they are offering commission, then great, you found them a buyer, and guess what? You still get to sell their house. You know, you don't have, it doesn't have to be a listing. You know, yeah, you did find them a buyer. You know, great. So oftentimes sometimes you get more commission off of a for sale by owner than you do off of a house that's actually listed on the MLS, because maybe the for sale by owner doesn't know the little nuances of Northeast Ohio with the 3-2 standard commission. You go, hey, yeah, I'm willing to offer 3%. That's more than you're going to make on the MLS. So, and then you can help them when they're happy with you. You know, hey, you sold my house. Like this guy. All right, I'll show you. So this guy here, he sold his house himself, but he used me to buy a house. These people here, Lisa and Chris, I helped them out. I did end up listing their house, and Lisa had three more rental properties past that, and she used me on 2 of them. She just called me to list her last one, and so it's like, hey, or maybe they have a relative, you know, that like, hey, you're the only real estate agent that was actually decent with me. Didn't talk about themselves the entire time, and you know, actually listened to my concerns, helped me out, and everything like that. I really thought that you conducted yourself in a professional manner. And my sister wants to buy a house, and whatever, you know, maybe it's, you know, who knows, maybe her sister's got 4 other friends who also, you know, now you have another client, you know, maybe she's willing to, maybe that their sister is a people connector. She refers you to 16 people. You know, it's just, you're out here just trying to help people. Or at least that's the way I look at it, and it has worked for me tremendously. So, but yeah, I mean, eventually you get to the point of the commission. If they are going to list with you, then yeah, you need to get paid for that. But that's not at all the whole point of talking with these people. Right off the rip. Yeah, that's you save that for the listing presentation. So, okay. Any other questions up to this point, or? Okay, great. So I will continue with this here. All right, so yeah, I'm telling them, asking them if they would be offended if I were to run a paid Facebook ad for them. You know, and basically all this is you just go on facebook.com, and you know, you can run a paid ad for like $10 or whatever it is, you know, and it goes to however many people. You just take a screenshot, and you can do more money than that. If you want to do a higher, longer reach, but you know, I would just kind of do $10, and you know, see, you know, you actually get a decent amount of leads off of it. People clicking on it, people going, asking questions about it. Hey, you know, it's another way to generate leads, buyer leads. Hey, let's say you do find them a buyer, you know, great, cool, you still get paid. and you help them. You help two people. You know, they're not going to say no to you spending money on their listing with no obligation on their part. So the next thing I do is 2 days later, I contact them again. So now they absolutely know who I am. They know exactly who I am. And I say, hey, I just want to, I send them a text message or an email, whatever, you know, they prefer, of a screenshot of the social media ad that I made for them, proving, hey, I said I was going to do this. I did it. You know, I'm spending, who else is spending money on your listing? You know, it's $10. Who cares? You know, so like you put the potential to make thousands, you know, people will go out and give up 35% of, or 30% or whatever it may be to a lead service, spend hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars paying for leads. You can do this for free or for $10. So a little bit of time. And then the next thing I do is, you know, I do call them up and say, hey, you know, hey, what are your plans? You know, by now they know you on a first name basis. Hey, what are your plans if you can't get the house sold on your own? Maybe I asked this even earlier than this, but you know, that I want to at least make sure that I have it written in there. You know, would you like me to handle the sale of your house for you? Again, maybe I asked that earlier, depending on how the conversation is going. But at this point, you know, this is drop dead. Like you gotta stop beating around the bush. So, but more than likely, you're probably asking this earlier because their conversations will start shifting earlier than this point. You know, rarely do I ever even get to this point with people. And so if they, you know, hey, I'd like to apply for the job of selling your house. And then you can also offer to send them a seller net sheet. Ninth point of contact, you know, I'll you know, maybe send them some comparable houses in the neighborhood, you know, throw them in my 36 touch at this point. So they know who you are, you know, just stay top of mind. So, so that's basically my 8x8, as a process. Again, it's been incredibly successful. And again, I also encourage you to, if you do want to implement something like this in your business, I highly recommend it. You create your own and just think about everything that you can do for them that creates value. You know, maybe it's, you know, Eric uses an example a lot of, you know, if you go schedule a house in their neighborhood, maybe a competing house, it's vacant. You can go schedule yourself a showing over there. And you can, maybe it's been on the market for a while, and you can go take a picture of all of the giant stack of business cards that are thrown on the kitchen counter. You can go take a picture of that, send that picture over to the for sale by owner and say, hey, Rob, just want to let you know, I stopped by 3, 4, or 5 Main Street, and these were all the cards on the counter. These buyers agents all have buyers. I'm going to call all of them and just let them know that your house is for sale up the street. You are offering a $3,000 commission. You know, he's going to realize, like, hey, this person's actually going out and finding me a buyer. And guess what? It's probably, I mean, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But guess what? He's gonna pick up the phone. He's going to seek you out to when it comes time to sell his house. Because we all know that most for sale by owners in normal times, I know the past couple of years have been pretty crazy, but most for sale by owners do end up listing with a real estate agent. We know that for a fact, and they actually end up making more money. Like this guy Rob, he had offers for 125, 150, and 170. I sold his house for $195,000. So it got him $25,000 over the highest price that he possibly got. So which more than paid for my fee, paid for the buyer's agent's fee, and it netted him more in his pocket. All while he had to do none of the work. I did it all for him. So, I mean, where's more value than that? So, but yeah, that's basically it. And I'd be happy to take any questions anybody has. If there's no questions, I'll move on to Raquel's
I have one quick question, real quick. Do you have any for sale by owner scripts that you recommend?
A script. Well, I guess, there's some online, like Jeff Glover has some scripts. But again, I don't, this whole process, I'm not using really any scripts. It's just connecting with people and helping them. So
I guess I just feel like, because I'm a new agent, and I guess I just feel like when I finally have the opportunity to talk to people, or even go on a listing presentation, I really have no idea what to say. And like, I feel like I feel like I'm like supposed to be an expert, but the truth is like, I'm not,
yeah. So how long have you been licensed?
I've been licensed on like almost 2 years. And like I've represented mostly sellers, and they've just pretty much been my friends. But like I'm going on a listing appointment Friday, and like I guess I just feel intimidated because I've never seen anybody else do a listing presentation, and I don't feel like I'm an expert on knowing how to get them the most for their house. I mean, I can run comps and take a guess, but it's really just that, it's a guess.
Mhm.
I don't feel like I'm an expert.
Yeah, no, you might be. I mean, honestly, just based off what you just said, you might be selling yourself short a little bit. The market always dictates the price, no matter what. The market will tell you exactly how much they think of the price that you listed at it. You'll know that. They'll give you feedback when you do list a house. There'll be, if you list it through showing time, and people request feedback, make sure you follow up with agents to find out what they thought their clients thought of the house, maybe what they thought of the house, what they thought of the price. But you just want to get at least in the ballpark of where you think that the house should be listed, just based on comps. If you know how to run comps, then you can at least find a ballpark.
Yeah, I run comps, and then like another issue is like sometimes they'll say like, well, do you think I should make improvements to my house or just list it as is? And I guess I just don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it just depends on, what kind of improvements that they're talking about. If they're talking about replacing all of their windows, they're probably not going to get a return on investment on that. And it'd probably be a lot more work than really what it's worth. When really you can do is, either maybe a seller credit, or, just reduce the price by X amount, or you can just throw it up there and see what the market thinks of it. But just for the most part, you want to present the house in the best possible light. Make sure that they're decluttered, and you're showing, if you are going there and you're doing a listing presentation, you have a benefit of that a lot of other new agents don't have. You have previous sales under your belt, whether it's from your friends or whatever. That's not really important if they're previous friends. But you have sales under your belt. You can show them, hey, I sold this house in this many days, and this is what it looked like, and this is what I'm going to be able to do for you. And you show them that. And I think that it is important to practice your listing presentation prior to actually going over there. So, and practice with, we got a whole bunch of people on this call right now. I'm sure, if nobody else wants to do it, I will meet with you to work with you on your listing presentation. It's better to practice in front of somebody else that doesn't really matter on than actually going over there and just having a little bit more confidence on it.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. All right. If nobody else has any questions, that's pretty much all I have for today. Hopefully it was valuable for you. And Raquel, I would be happy to stick around and answer your question again.
Hey, Jim, so when the conversation gets brought up about, and you may have touched on this and maybe I missed it, but when the conversation gets brought up about your split, your percentage, do you just tell them that it's negotiable, or do you tell them, you know, standard, this is usually what I take? So where do you take that conversation?
Yeah, no, my price is my price. I feel like I'm worth it. And I have a track record to prove it. And then again, it's showing them, not telling them. You know, it's pulling up, you know, going through, if you're doing a listing presentation, make sure you have photos to show them, you know, hey, this is what I did. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, so I have enough stories where I can tell people, you know, like, hey, I can show people.
Right.
And, you know, hey, this is a house that I sold. It was expired. Here's how it looked before, and it sat on the market for 300 something days. And, you know, this is how it looked when I took it over, and I sold it in 2 days. You know, I have stories like that. You know, the more house sales that you get on your belt, the more you're able to share something like that. But if you don't have any of those stories, let me know. I'll walk you through my listing presentation, or Eric can walk you through his listing presentation.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you can just literally just steal my stories. I don't care. So whatever helps you. So
okay.
just say, hey, this is what we did, you know, at Killerwood. I don't know, just whatever helps you feel more confident in front of somebody. If you don't have examples, if you never sold a house before, you want to make sure that you're not being left out there just you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Of course.
What is your price? What percentage do you take?
7%.
7%. Okay.
Yep.
And what kind of split do you do?
I mean, it depends, but just whatever standard, you know, if it's just what if you look online, you know, there's the typical amount is either 3.2 or 3 or 3.5, whatever, you know, whatever the price of the house is typically going on in that neighborhood. You know, I'll just go on there and say like, hey, yeah, this is the going rate around here. So
okay.
Yep. So
Hey Jim, I got a quick question. What's your best advice for lead generation?
do it. No, but you know, find, you know, going back to the MREA book, find 3 sources of lead generation that you're comfortable with, that you can commit to doing. And the other part of that is I'm sure Eric talks about it on other coaching calls, is massive action with course correction is the cure-all. If anybody's familiar with Jim Rohn says that, or would say that all the time. And that was his advice to Tony Robbins. I'm not sure if anybody knows what that is. It was Tony Robbins asked him, hey, he's like, hey, I got these problems going on in my life. And he goes, hey, Tony, massive action with course correction is the cure-all. So anytime you want to start lead generating, or you have an ambition to, hey, you know, like one of my lead generation things is going to be doing open houses. Take massive action toward it. And so then when you're taking massive action, you know, you're able to see trends, you're able to get more experience. You know, you're pouring yourself into this, and you can honestly become an expert at it if you do it a whole bunch of times. You know, if you're gonna go door knocking, go knock on a ton of doors. If you're gonna do networking, if you're gonna go to like meetup.com, you know, networking events, you know, do a whole bunch of them. You know, commit to doing enough where you feel like, hey, you know, that's a lot, and then do more. So it's really the best advice that I can say to do that. You know, like if you're gonna, and do it consistently. So, but do definitely massive action with course correction. So, you know, just pick a handful, pick 3 that you want to do, whether it's for sale by owners or expireds, or you really would just really want to work your sphere, like, you know, have that one be one of your sources of lead generation. You know, find the people connectors within your sphere and you know, talk with them and, you know, let them know that you're in real estate, and you know, not let them know you're attending coaching and, you know, all this stuff, you know. So yeah, so that's what I would say.
Hey, Jim, this may be a question you may not know the answer to, but when you go on these listing appointments with the for sale by owners, have they met with other realtors, or do other realtors try to close them over the phone?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, they're always trying to get closed over the phone, always.
Right. So I
but,
mean,
you
maybe
know,
that like gives you an advantage because you meet with them in person. I don't know. You know.
it could be. And you know, like I said, you know, sometimes they will close over the phone with another agent.
Okay.
That's not. I look at it. That's not my issue. You know, like maybe there is something I could have done better. Maybe there's an issue with the process, or I wasn't speaking their language. Like if you're not familiar with like the DISC personality profile assessment, type that into Google after this call or sometime today or tomorrow. It's called DISC. You know, so you always just, you know, you want to you speak their language. Maybe you're not speaking their language, or, you know, just do an assessment. But I really think of it as them signing with another agent is really not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is filling this out to the point where that's not a concern at all.
Yeah.
So you just need more leads. Your problem is not that person signed with somebody else. Your problem is more leads.
Okay. Perfect.
And practice. Practice too. Practice with more leads. All right. Well, if that is it, then I will stick around to answer any final questions that didn't have any relation to the topic today, or if anybody has any other questions, I'd be happy to stick around here for a little bit.